This is Fox 44 News at 9.
Louisiana braced for high winds and heavy rains as Barry strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane earlier today and has weakened back into a tropical storm now. Fox News correspondent Doug McKelway has more from New Orleans.
Storm Barry has now reached hurricane strength as it moves into the Louisiana coastline. Thousands are without power as Barry pounds the south-central Louisiana coast. The slow storm, tracking at around 5 miles per hour, it's expected to dump as much as 25 inches of rain in some areas. People in New Orleans and Baton Rouge could experience a record-setting storm.
Major to near or even record flooding will be possible on rivers and streams around the area.
Heavy rain and wind moving in overnight, wind gusts reaching nearly 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, I was trying to get to my house to check it out, but the water on the other side is just too deep between the railroad track and the lake.
Barry is expected to weaken as it moves inland. The National Weather Service says there is still the potential for flooding due to rain and a storm surge. The Mississippi River is already running high due to heavy spring rain and snowmelt. It's expected to rise to 17 feet.
We really have to be extremely prepared for a very major rain event across much of Louisiana.
Some people in Louisiana deciding to wait the storm out at home. Officials encouraging people to remain indoors and keep at least 3 days' worth of supplies on hand.
I am prepared. I have a lot of water. I went to Sam's and I got everything prepared. So in case it happens, I'm looking up and I have good friends and I'm okay.
Storm Barry is expected to move north into the Mississippi Valley, bringing extreme heavy rainfall into Florida's western panhandle and Alabama. In New Orleans, Doug McKelway, Fox News.
Tonight, a 17-year-old girl is recovering after being hit with fireworks while celebrating the 4th of July. Fox 44's Shaquille Omari is back from speaking with the victim and her family. Shaquille, what did they have to say?
And a 17-year-old Maddie says she was lighting fireworks with her friends. That's when one firework called the Zipper, roughly around this size, struck her in the eye. However, apart from all this, she says she's thankful to be alive. Throughout Maddie Lightsy's home, there's cards, balloons, and flowers wishing her a fast recovery. This after a fun July 4th turned to horror when the 17-year-old was struck in the right eye with a firework.
I mean, I didn't expect it to hit me because it was like 20 feet away. I wasn't expecting it at all.
The injury leaving the teen blind in the right eye.
It was a lot of sharp pain like on this side of my face.
Lightsy says her boyfriend quickly called her mom and was rushed to the hospital.
So it was just shock, honestly, complete. You know, I didn't process it all. I'm like, okay, she's alive.
But now the family is staying strong. Maddie's a goalie on her school soccer team. She says she is not going to let her injury affect her performance.
It won't stop me, so it'll be okay.
In the coming weeks, the teen will undergo multiple surgeries to help regain her sight. The news prompting a family friend to fundraise to cover medical expenses.
As a church community, we are devastated. So I think we all just were thinking of ways to help, and we didn't know how to tangibly help them.
The family is just a few $100s away from reaching their $7,000 goal.
Honestly, I'm so grateful.
You know, Maddie and I are very blessed to have a lot of people who love us and are praying for us.
Now this Tuesday, the family will head to Plano where Maddie will have her first surgery. A GoFundMe page is on our website at centexproud.com. Live in the news, live in the control room, Shaquille Omari, Fox 44 News.
Thank you, Shaquille. The man arrested after the body of a missing Dallas 18-month-old was found in an area landfill claims the infant was unresponsive when he put him in a dumpster. Cedric Johnson has been charged for causing serious bodily injury to a child in connection to the death of Cedric Jackson. An Amber Alert was issued for Jackson on Wednesday after his aunt said she woke up that morning and couldn't find him. Johnson is the reported boyfriend of the aunt. He was arraigned on Friday afternoon, and more charges are pending as police wait for the child's autopsy report. Vice President Mike Pence toured 2 detention facilities on the Texas border Friday. At the McAllen station, hundreds of men were crowded in sweltering rooms without cots. Some of the men said they were hungry and had been held there for longer than 40 days. Pence's office said the tour was part of an effort to show the Trump administration is providing adequate care for migrants, but the scene the vice president witnessed is sure to spark new criticism of the conditions facing migrants in U.S. government facilities.
The facility here at McAllen is at the very center of the crisis on our southern border. And this facility here today, while it's clean and sanitary, is doing their level best to deal with this unprecedented flow. Last month alone, nearly 100,000 people coming across our border.
The agent in charge of the McAllen station Pence visited said the men held there were allowed to brush their teeth once a day. He said many of the men had not showered for 10 or 20 days. He also said the longest any man had been there was 32 days. And authorities are building a new migrant holding facility in Tornillo. U.S. Customs and Border Protection confirmed the construction Friday. Officials said the facility will be for adults only and have a 2,500 bed capacity. It should begin accepting migrants in late July or early August. And the McLennan County Sheriff's Office is having a hiring event Monday for its jail division. This comes after the county has decided to take over the Jack Harwell Detention Center in October. The hiring event will be held at Workforce Solutions on New Road in Waco from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. They will be doing interviews on the spot, so anyone interested will need to have their applications filled out ahead of time. And the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office released the full Dashcam video from a March traffic stop involving NFL star Landon Roberts of the New England Patriots.
Get back in the car. Get back in the car. Get in the car right now.
The incident led to allegations of harassment by Roberts. The video shows a deputy stopping Roberts for speeding. Roberts pulls into the driveway of his own home and exits the car with his hands up. The deputy yells at Roberts to get back in the car, which Roberts does. The two can be heard having a disagreement, and the deputy can be heard calling for backup and describing Roberts as a big black male. At one point, he even threatens to arrest Roberts' wife if she doesn't go inside. The county sheriff said the stop wasn't about race, but admitted the deputy's behavior was unprofessional. He apologized to Roberts and says the deputy, who was new to the job, was reprimanded. And the New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell spoke at a news conference today warning residents to seek shelter and stay off the streets ahead of the Hurricane Barry, which has now turned into a tropical storm. The slow-moving storm is tracking at around 5 miles an hour. It's expected to dump as much as 25 inches of rain in some areas. Officials are warning residents of life-threatening storm surge possibilities and says even though Barry made landfall west of Morgan City, the city was not out of the emergency event yet.
The eye. Well, we're out of the eye, but we're not out of the conditions that will cause heavy rainfall for the city of New Orleans. Although Barry has slowed, it's also intensified, pushing the timing of expected impacts further into today, tonight, and Sunday. While the storm surge risk on our Mississippi River has passed, the primary risk continues to remain heavy rains for the city of New Orleans.
The National Weather Service says the slow movement of Barry will result in long-duration heavy rainfall and flood threat along the central Gulf Coast. And people in Louisiana are trying to help wildlife trapped by flooding caused by Barry. Take a look at this video. In Montague, people have been using boats to wrangle horses, cattle, and other animals to safety. Horses in this area were having trouble and pastures flooded 12 feet deep with water. People were able to help those horses get to a higher ground, but some officials are telling people to back off. One sheriff said he does not want people traveling into the area because crews are busy trying to deal with the levees. And it was like something out of a movie, but for these Texas people, it was very real. That story is next.
Trade Center Theater invites you to step back in time to meet Felicity Fair, the beautiful heroine who suffers from amnesia and falls in love with the hero and farmer, Malvin Larkfield, but cannot marry him because she may already be married. Enter villain Cyril Bothingwell, who claims Felicity is his wife. Will the hero save the day? Come boo, hiss, and throw popcorn when Stage Center presents the classic melodrama Caught in the Villain's Web, July 25th through August 10th.
You're not holding by the legs, are you?
No, I'm not. Gorilla Glue.
Of course. Gorilla Glue is incredibly strong and versatile, even outdoors, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Want a relaxing pedicure?
Relaxing pedicure? My feet get so dry and cracked, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keeffe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet. Thanks to O'Keeffe's, I got my feet back.
Join Planet Fitness for $1 down. Why struggle? Leave the gym to us. Join for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Ends July 16th.
Join now through July 16th for $1 down at the PF in Waco, Killeen, Belton, or Temple.
See news happening, report it, and win $100.
At
At H-E-B, we have low prices on everything you use most. Low prices on every save the day thing and every start the day thing. Low prices on every cleanup inside thing and every cleanup outside thing. Low prices on every puppy thing and every cutie thing. In fact, you'll find all the brands, sizes, and low prices on the things your family uses most, because everything is our middle name. No store does more than my H-E-B.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Get over $4,100 below MSRP on this Equinox. Plus, current GM owners get an additional $1,000 cash allowance. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
All right, imagine pulling up in your driveway and seeing a Black Hawk helicopter parked in your pasture. Trent Bennett shares the story of the Stovall family and their encounter and experience that happened in their small Texas town.
This rare sight, not your typical John Deere tractor, but a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter.
Drove up and don't know if I know you guys heard of the movie Black Hawk Down, but that's what I thought. I come driving down the highway and I looked to my right and I said, well, Black Hawk down in Troop, Texas, I can't believe it.
Due to transmission trouble, the men on this military aircraft made an emergency landing.
The young men had left their base there at Arkansas and were taking supplies and on their way to Austin, on their way back, and then the warning lights go off and their transmissions going out, and so they've got to find a place to land pretty quickly.
The pilots picked the Stovall family property, which Scott and his wife Renee have lived on for more than 2 decades.
If they hadn't been at the altitude, according to the 2 officers on board, they would have been a crash land. They were at a very high altitude, higher than they normally fly.
But instead, after the soldiers found a safe spot, it was a snapshot opportunity for the Stovalls and their friends. A night they'll never forget.
It was a special feeling, you know. I nearly get emotional talking about it.
But we were so excited.
And for the soldiers,
not only did they get a home-cooked meal, but the Stovalls had this man cave built back in 2012, so they had a nice place to relax.
Yes, we have been very blessed, and God intended for us to share it.
The fact that these young men have already been to Afghanistan and Iraq and are going to have to go, they're going to have to go back, I just wish them well.
After nearly 24 hours, the chopper lifted off, and a simple wave for the memories made will do just fine.
The Fox 44 weather forecast with Weather Rate certified meteorologist Emily Kay.
All right, well, Emily, tell us, what is Sunday going to be like? Are we going to see any more unexpected showers? Or at least I didn't expect it. I don't know.
Well, it was an unexpected shower. It was definitely a pop-up shower, and we were going to see a few of those today. We might see a few of them tomorrow. Not quite as much as we saw today, and the good news is we really didn't see that much today, so the chance is even lower for your Sunday. You can probably leave the umbrella at home when you head out for your Sunday morning plans or even your Sunday afternoon plans, because there's really no expectation to see those scattered showers and storms by the afternoon. I'll break that down for you in just a bit. But taking a look at the live radar right now, clear across most of central Texas from any rain. It's going to look like this for the rest of the night tonight, going into tomorrow. So no rain tonight. Tomorrow morning, we aren't expecting to see any rain. As we get into the afternoon, we might start to see a few showers associated with Tropical Storm Barry, but overall, mostly clear for us. If we take a look at the temperatures across central Texas, dropped all the way down into the lower 80s. Lampasas even seeing those temperatures in the upper 70s. So it's feeling pretty good out there. Those temperatures dropping down pretty nicely overnight tonight. A little muggy. Those dew points changing from those upper 60s that we saw at this time yesterday all the way down into the mid 70s across most of the area tonight. So it is making it feel a little more uncomfortable out there. That is changing our heat index. Yesterday we actually saw the heat index feeling more like the actual temperatures out there, but tonight is feeling more like the upper 80s and into the lower 90s. But still, not too bad. We'll take this over those triple-digit heat indices any day. And if we take a look at the futurecast overnight tonight, temperatures continuing to drop down into the 70s. By tomorrow morning, waking up to those temperatures in the mid-70s across most of the area. If you take a look at these clouds moving into the area off from our east, these are associated with Barry. So it's going to make tomorrow just a little cloudier. It is going to keep our temperatures capped at about mid-90s, seeing those heat indices reaching the triple digits by the afternoon. However, thanks to the higher humidity. As we get into Sunday afternoon, those temperatures getting back in the mid-90s. Sunday night dropping back down into the 70s. And by Sunday night, most of those clouds associated with Barry are going to start to move out. So that's actually going to be pretty nice by Sunday night. Monday morning, waking up to partly cloudy skies, a shower or two Sunday afternoon because it is going to start to warm right back up on Sunday, getting those temperatures right back into the upper 90s, feeling more like the triple digits once again with those afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Now I'm thinking for the next several days we're going to be seeing those showers and storms off to the south near College Station and even down near Brenham. That's where most of those showers and storms are going to be located again throughout Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday. Overnight tonight, temperatures in the mid-70s, increasing cloud cover going into Sunday. Tomorrow, highs in the mid-90s, feeling more like the triple digits, however, partly to mostly cloudy skies by the afternoon. And if we take a look at our 7-day forecast over the next 7 days, take a look at Wednesday. All the way into the triple digits. That is hot. It's just going to continue to be hot for the next several days. But again, Sunday, Monday, best chance of rain over the next few days. That is especially true for our 7-day forecast for Bryan College Station. That's why we have that 20% chance of rain there on Sunday and Monday. That's because of Barry bringing in some of those showers and storms. The clouds associated with Barry again. But Barry is actually bringing us a nice northerly wind. So the wind is coming in from the north. That is keeping our dew points just a little bit lower than what we've been seeing the past several days. And that is making it feel just a little more comfortable. So once Barry starts to move off into the Mid-East or move off to the Midwest, it's actually going to start to feel a little more muggy because our winds are going to switch from the south. I know. So
I think all the ladies out there will appreciate the tiny break from the humidity.
Yes, the tiny break from the humidity. Monday, it's going to switch right back to the south. Southerly winds on Monday. So
tiny break, everybody.
Tiny break.
So look forward to that. All right. Well, thank you, Emily.